We are live. What is up, swimmers and swammers? Welcome back to the SwimSwam Breakdown. As always, I'm your host, Coleman Hodges, coming to you from Brooklyn, New York, joined by the swim scribe himself, David Clossy from St. Cloud, Minnesota. Fingers crossed, no Wi-Fi connection problems today on my end. But again, what a week in swimming it's been. I think we had some really unexpectedly fast swims from some very young swimmers, and that is what we're kicking the ball off today with. Just I guess tonight in China, but this morning for Americans, 13-year-old UZD of China at the 2025 Chinese National Games just dropped a 207.41 in the 200 IM, breaking the legendary Chinese and Asian record set 13 years ago by Yi Wen at the 2012 Olympic Games en route to Olympic gold when she went 207.5. David, I'm just curious where you're at right off the bat first with this swim. What was your reaction when you woke up and saw this headline?
I knew she was going to be fast, just had a feeling this is a high priority meet for Chinese swimmers. I was hoping she'd be right around me, a bit under her best time that she went during the World Championships to place fourth. Was not expecting
as a 12-year-old.
12 back then. Now she's 13. Mm-hmm. And apparently that little increase in age did just enough to drop like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And 207.4, absolutely crazy. She's now breaking national and continental records with that one, in the top 10 performers of all time. If she went that time during the World Championship, she would have gotten the silver medal behind the world record holder, Summer McIntosh. She's now within 2 seconds of the world record. She's 13 years old.
Which... it's crazy to me that 207.4, while unbelievably fast for any athlete of any age, is within 2 seconds. It's like it's not really that close to the world record, which that like took me aback because I was like, oh my God, like she's like what, within a second of the world record? And I was like, oh no.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people we're still processing that's the world record time from McIntosh, because it was 206.1 for so long with Katika Hosu, but now the fact that it's a 205.7, it's like, oh yeah, it's a lot faster now. So I think it would have been like, a second and second and change away before, but McIntosh just had to blow the doors off it a little bit during those national championships.
So I did forget that a bit, but still, for UZD to still be getting better and better in leaps and bounds like this, I mean, I think it's a surprise anytime you see it. And we're going to talk about another age group phenom, Luka Mijatovic, here in a little bit, and the leaps and bounds he's making, but you still never know, right? You never know if it's going to happen again. And what she did as a 12-year-old last year, as an 11-year-old, but specifically last year, the World Championships, when she got fourth in 3 events as a 12-year-old, was incredible, And then again, she was kind of off our radar because that was only 3 months ago. It was not very long ago when she was doing that. And now, as you said, the Chinese have their national games, and it is a big emphasis meet for many Chinese swimmers. And apparently it doesn't take much tapering for UZD or much work. I guess when you're that age, you're just dropping time left and right anyway. But for UZD, it just happens to be on a global scale.
Yeah, like when you're already that fast, she's so quickly graduated from times that are fast for her age to times that are just fast. If anyone had suddenly broke into the top 10 performers, that would be newsworthy. The fact that it's coming from a freshly turned 13-year-old is something else entirely. And also the fact that, surpassed, like you said, Yi Wen's old Chinese and Asian record, that won Olympic gold in 2012. That swim is older than Zidi is.
Oh my God.
She was born in 2012.
That really
she was
puts
born
it into
after
perspective.
the London Olympics.
Okay, that's That's quite funny.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that, but sheesh.
I remember. I only reason I know this because I was at one point comparing her to like Ledecky. Like, I think she would be 15 um in LA, and it's like, oh, that's the same age as Ledecky. Oh, and Ledecky won gold. Oh, she wasn't even born yet.
Mm. Yeah, that's nuts.
There's so many different ways you can realize that this is just an insane swim.
Yeah. It's really, really fast. I mean, it would have won gold in Rio in the 2016 not 2020 Olympics. It would not have won gold in Rio, but it would have won gold in Tokyo. And it would have gotten her a bronze in Paris. So
And I'm assuming she's going to be swimming the 200 butterfly and 400 IM still later on in the meet. This meet's ongoing.
Yeah. So this meet, like we said, it's a big meet. It's a big deal for Chinese swimmers. I think it mirrors the Olympic schedule. It's 8 days. It's Monday to Monday. So it is a behemoth of a meet. And I assume a lot of Chinese swimmers will kind of go all out for it. We've already seen some really, a lot of the best Chinese swimmers trying to perform well and putting up really solid times. Zhang Yufei, Pan Zhenle, Chen Haiyang, among those who are competing and winning events. Pan Zhenle was 5th in the 400 free, which was interesting. We've seen him compete all the way up to the 800 free before. But I think he was 348. He was finished right ahead of Sun Yang, who placed 6th in that 400 free at 349, I believe. Another really sensational swim was Zhang Shanshuo, 342.8, re-breaking his world junior record. Who I think is, I actually don't know how old he is, but he has made that 400 free his event. He's broken the world junior record twice in that event now. So that, let's see, Zhang Shanshuo, do we have an age? He's 18. So yeah, 342.82. But that's a sensational swim for him. And I know when I talked to Mr. Luka Mijatovic just the other day, one of his goals for this season is he has his eyes on that 342 world junior record. So we'll see how long it stands, but for right now, it belongs to China.
And that 342.82 is going to bump him as the 17th fastest performer of all time. He's and him is Peter Vanderkay with his 43.
Yeah, that's a really impressive swim and a really impressive list of people to be on there with. He's also now the 3rd fastest. Well, he was before, but he remains the 3rd fastest Chinese performer of all time, behind the aforementioned Sun Yang as well as Zhang Lin, who was 341.3 in 2009, the world record holder in the 800 free, Zhang Lin. But yeah, so some really, really fast swims coming out of Shenzhen, China this week at those national games, which is really exciting because I wouldn't say we have a ton of fast swimming happening internationally right now outside of that. So it's good that the world just keeps on churning out really, really ridiculously fast swims. Any other swims of note from you from this meet before we move on to the next ones?
Those were definitely the 2 biggest highlights. Everything else I feel like is just kind of building anticipation for what are these swimmers going to do. Like we mentioned, Pan Zhenle, he was also, he finished in that 400 free final. He also swam, this morning or last night, swam the semis of the 200 free. I think it was a 147 and change, kind of right in the top little bracket there. So you can probably go a bit faster in the final. It'll be interesting to see what he does, because I think a lot of people are going to be looking at him. Yeah, it's nice to see what he does in the 400, but where he's really at in terms of that 100, 200 speed. I believe he did anchor a relay on night 1. Wasn't incredibly quick. He was like a 47.9.
Yeah.
not slow, but when your best time's a 46.4, I think a lot of people, especially after maybe a disappointing world championships for him, are curious to see what he can do. Because I know a lot of people are kind of wondering with a lot of Chinese athletes during worlds is how much are they in for world championships? How much are they in for the national games? And as it goes on, it'll be interesting to see what kind of cards they show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I'm guessing he was disappointed with his world championship outing this past summer, especially in that 100 freestyle where he finished 10th overall and didn't even make the final. But also interesting to see, he hasn't put up spectacular times at this meet so far. Certainly not that close to his career bests in the 400 and the 200. So yeah, interesting to see if he is all in for this meet, if he's kind of in the same form as Worlds, and what that might mean for him moving forward.
And it could just be that Olympic hangover year for him too. That's always a possibility
That's true.
especially someone that kind of just exploded onto the scene in such a short time frame like he did. That's all,
Yeah.
we're going from, pretty quick to like a global sensation, especially with that big of a record in that notable an event. That would certainly be understandable to maybe take a year to get super back on track.
And also, I mean, that's another thing that I wish we just had like more kind of global and cultural access. Like, I wonder how much that affected his personal life in China, having that kind of Olympic performance, because he had to have been a huge star in China after Paris. I would imagine, because he didn't just win a gold medal. He blew the doors off of a field and completely dominated a historically very tight event. He decimated the world record, and then he also anchored the relay to a gold medal when they dove in third. So he like single-handedly gave China 2 incredible gold medals in historic performances. And China loves swimming. Like, it's very popular there, and they love their, like, I remember when Ning Zitao in 2015 won the 100 free world title. Like, he was a huge star, and that's pretty much his only major international accomplishment. Like, maybe he had Asian Games success as well, but like, he never won another medal at Worlds or the Olympics. And so, like, I have to imagine Pan probably got a lot. His personal life probably looked a little different after Paris.
Yeah.
And maybe
I feel like
could affect his year as well.
Especially for like non-Americans, because I feel like Americans, we really take like our Olympic athletes for granted, but you see a lot of stories in other, like Leon Marchand in France, especially performing in France. Matt, I know there's so many stories after, this was even more insane level, but Joe Schooling after winning his, Singapore's first Olympic gold. I've heard stories about him like not being able to leave restaurants because he was getting like such a superstar. And so there definitely is another layer to it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, obviously we would love to see Pan Zhenle get back up to that level, but yeah, we'll monitor how he does this week as well as how the Chinese games go this week. It's been an exciting meet so far, and we'll certainly keep our eye on UZD as she rolls through this competition as well. The next meet I want to hit on, well, actually, let's go to Luka Mijatovic, the other age group sensation we saw this weekend, swimming at some age group meet, the Pleasanton Seahawks.
The very prestigious Pleasanton Seahawks Open Invitational, whatever.
Yeah, right. Senior meet 2. Yeah. He swam at his home meet, which is I did love that in his conversation with me that came out last week, he mentioned that I had asked him, what's your meet schedule look like this season? And I was thinking he's going to pro swims, he's going to US Open, like he's going to all these big meets. And he's like, well, I think we have a club meet, and I think he is going to US Open. And then I think I have another club meet, and then I have high school season, and then I'll probably go to another couple local meets and then try to qualify for junior Panbacks. It's like, oh, I think when a lot of swimmers kind of ascend to that level of making international teams, we see them start to prioritize their season in terms of going to the highest level of competition they can all year round. And it was a little refreshing to have Luka just be like, I'm going to my age group meets. What do you want from me? Going to high school. It was nice. So
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Clearly
yeah, right.
This schedule of meets and training time, that split, that, maybe less intensive travel is working for him. And especially during these still in his developmental years, probably best to stick with what he knows. Very, very good decision, honestly, even if it is a little funny to say out loud.
Yeah, no, I mean, I completely support this. It makes sense, but all that to say, he swam at one of these meets and he went 8:37 in the 1,000 freestyle and 4:08.5 in the 500 freestyle. Both times are just ridiculous. Let's start with the 1,000, 8:37. This puts him in the top 10.
He's, I believe, at least sixth, because I think most data sets will show him at fifth, but it's missing the fact that Bobby Fink split an 8:33 in a 16:50 once, and there might be another 1,000 split or two not in there. But at around top 10, the best I've seen is sixth fastest performer. Which and the fact that is, especially over a 1,000-yard race, few seconds off of that Clark Smith NCAA record. That's crazy for a 16-year-old. And that wasn't just a dual meet swim. It wasn't 1,000 split. It was 1,000 split, but he was going for it because his next split after he finished that was like a 48 or something. I was looking at the splits from that 1650 race he did, where he set that record because he was clearly going for it and then just chilled for a few hundred and then kind of got back into it. And so even though the 1,000 is a weird event at the D1 level because it's not contested at the national championships, you don't see a lot of people take a crack at it. This was a very legitimate shot taken by a very quick NCAA swimmer. So the fact that this 16-year-old is approaching it is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's you look at the people ahead of him. I did not realize that one of the people ahead of him is Ahmed Jawadi, who just swam one of the fastest thousands this season in October, or last month. He went 8:36.55. So Jawadi is already seeing a lot of success at the University of Florida, swimming one of the fastest thousands ever at a dual meet. But then Eric Vent from 2008 swam an 8:36.4, which if you don't know that name, go Google him and have a fun time looking at all the things he accomplished. And then David Johnston, 8:34.8, which that's from 2 years ago. And I believe this was like a very pointed attempt by Johnston to break Clark's record of 8:33 that was from 2015. And then, you have that 8:33.9 by Clark Smith, which Mijatovic was just over 3 seconds off. But wow, what a swim for Mijatovic, and what a trajectory that he is placing himself on and is continuing to place himself on. And then 2 days later, after some very solid swims and best times in other events, 4:08.5, slotting him in at number 17 all time. It's really funny that that 4:08 mid was like a real barrier for a long time. I think Tom Dolan went 4:08 in the 90s.
1995, and Mijatovic is now one spot ahead of him.
Yeah, so that his record lasted for 20 years. Peter Vanderkay rebroke it, and that record lasted for about another 10 years. So for 30 years, people weren't really going faster than 4:08.5. And now, in the last 10 years, we've gone to 4:02, and we're having conversations about sub 4 minute for 500 freestylers. So yeah, shout out to Luka Mijatovic. What a weekend for him. Any other thoughts or dissections on the weekend that Luka had?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that 4:08.5 is absolutely crazy because he also, he came in with the best time of 4:10.9. So
Yeah.
he absolutely destroyed that. He even clipped that record in the prelims, took that down a little bit, and then just absolutely blasted. And that would be an absolutely insane time to have as a high school senior. When you're looking at the impact they're going to have on a collegiate team.
Yeah.
He's about to start his junior year for the season.
Yeah.
In his junior year of high school. This is another year to improve. And, he's recently committed to the University of Texas. If you're thinking about 500 free training groups, they have the first, second, third, and fifth fastest performers of all time training either as members of the college team or as pros there. So that is a disgusting, 400/500 training group there. And that is going to be super interesting. The fact that he is already with his best times as a 16-year-old would be making NCAA finals. They would have placed, I think it would have been fifth out of the prelims last year. And then if he perfectly replicated, it would have been fourth in the final and like you were saying, the fact that the 500 free is an event that has just absolutely exploded in the last like 2 or 3 years. The fact that breaking, when Zane Grothy went a 4:07 in 2017, late 2017, that was insane. And then Kieran Smith going a 4:06, absolutely out of this world. And then Marshawn kind of set the standard, and we've seen these floodgates open in the last year.
Yeah. Yeah. I
like
mean,
that he's putting notable times in that current landscape is crazy.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of the top 17 performers hit their best time since 2024, since Leon went 4:02.
Yeah.
The floodgates really have been opened. And what really impressed me about Luka's finals 500 was, as you said, he went 4:10.3 in prelims. And at the 350 of his finals swim, he was only 0.4 faster than what he had been in the morning. So he essentially, the first 350 yards were the same race. He replicated it to a T. And then those last 350s, 3.5 tenths faster, 6 tenths faster, 4 tenths faster than the morning. On the last
clearly he was shutting that down in the morning, but no one knew whether or not he was even doing that because he went so fast. I saw so many discussions in the comments after he clipped. It was like, I think he's going to scratch. Actually, I think that was the fastest he can go. He's probably going for a 200 fly time later.
Right.
Nope.
Yeah. So yeah, he did the dang thing. So shout out to Luka for just continuing to do it. And he has over a year and a half until he even hits college. It'll just be really interesting to see him go into his freshman season, it being an Olympic year. Everything he said indicated that he would be going to Texas. He mentioned, I know that I will be heading to Texas my freshman season in an Olympic year. And so this is like the way I'm doing things because of that. And I think we've seen people go in to a year and have a lot of success with Bob, especially since he's been at Texas. In the first year, a lot of swimmers had a lot of success. Seems like he knows what he's doing, but it will be really interesting that by the time Luka gets to college, we will already be on the precipice of LA 2028.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Whew. Okay. That's that. Those are the really fast young swimmers that are happening in our world today. One other notable meet that's happening internationally right now is the Russian short course meters nationals. We've seen a few pretty great swims there so far. Notably for me, Klement Kolesnikov swimming a 22.4 world leading 50 backstroke. I just love to see that because Klement Kolesnikov is my favorite Russian swimmer ever. He's a very cool guy. He has a great sense of humor. I think he is well loved in the swimming community. So it's always good for me to see him doing well, because again, we don't get to always see a lot from the Russian swimmers. And again, on the sprinter side of things, Igor Kornev, first Russian man under 22 seconds in the 50 fly, 21.8, as well as a 44.99 in the 100 freestyle. Number 5 performer of all time, I think. So another one to slip under that 45-second barrier. Any other swims that have stood out from you so far at this Russian Nationals?
The biggest ones for me are actually those ones from Kornev. He's just someone who is super impressed me. Someone else kind of, okay, we want to keep more of an eye on him. Even after last long course worlds, he was in the mix a lot, throwing up some pretty notable times. Someone who's definitely putting up some warning shots, and breaking that 45-second barrier is awesome. And he just slid underneath there with that 99. And yeah, you are right. He's the 5th fastest performer of all time. And then it's cool to be the first Russian under 22 seconds in 50 fly, and not by a little in that case, right? He went well under it, 21.83, and that's got him sitting as the 7th fastest performer of all time. So he was definitely the one that's the individual performer that stood out to me the most, and the breaking 2 barriers has always got to feel really cool.
Yeah. One other swim that really impressed me, Gregory Vikovishchev, 3:36.5 in the men's 400 free for a world junior record. So again, continuing the trend of fast 18 and unders. Something's in the water right now.
It's a bad week to be a 400 free world junior record, apparently.
Seriously. Short course, long course, they will not stand. But yeah, so that also a really impressive swim. 3:36.5 is a great. I feel like the short course meter 400 free, that world record is still 3:32 from Yannick Agnel in 2012, and I would love to see someone really go for that soon. And we do get so few short course meters opportunities, especially like shaved, tapered, and like a lot of the world's best focusing on it. And I believe that with a lot of short course meters world championships, the 400 free is on day one, which is kind of similar for long course too, but I get why, because it's prelims, finals, and it's a longer event, so they want to put it at the front. But I wish it was kind of in the middle of the meet so people could get into it a little more and maybe go for it. But what are you gonna do? All right. On that note, let's go to NCAA, where we saw a lot of fast swimming happening, and kind of just the trend. I made a few notes, and just the trend continuing of lots and lots of fast swimming year round or season round in the NCAA, which is really exciting. David, I'll throw this one to you first. Any competition swimmer team that you loved seeing this past weekend?
Yeah, I mean, first, like you said, just kind of encompass everything. We're seeing a lot more speed, more continuously, more in the early seasons. And I think it's something that is going to keep going. I think it's something that's a lot easier to do in short course formats than long course formats. Because you don't have that full length to kind of tire yourself out, and you get that little refresh off of each wall. And it's something that I think is beneficial for swimmers from a training your racing for the end of the year. It's also exciting for fans to watch. I think we got to talk about the Rayleigh Rumble, that one of the, our exciting dual meets where teams are trying new things. And they were definitely trying some new things. My favorite detail of it, because it was just for the mixed relay at the end, right, where they did this, the in water cheering section.
Yes.
Genius. That is such a unique swimming specific thing. I think that is something that you can, really leverage on social media. Maybe make that, honestly, I would add a mixed relay or a relay, throw it in there. You could do it for just relay. This was something, I don't know how well this would work for the pacing of a dual meet, but this is something that we did for COVID restrictions my senior year in college. But it ended up actually being really interesting. Was instead of having all the relays go together in a normal heat, it was the two teams C relays would race. the 2 teams B relays would race, the 2 teams A relays would race. Which,
Ooh.
as someone who, as a distance swimmer, is at best on a C relay, maybe even a D relay, it's nice to actually, because normally you're racing the other guys on the other side of the pool and you can't really see them. Being
Yeah.
right up next to them was really exciting. Again, we only really did that for COVID restrictions. So maybe you do like an A and a B relay, have them go one after the other, extend that time with in water. I just thought that was a genius thing to add in there. It's very swimming specific. I think if you post a lot about it, you can leverage a lot of social media attention, gain some traction for your swim team, maybe get some more consistent attendance if you keep doing that. Be like, oh, I want to be cheering in the water. That's a unique experience. What I want to see, though, this is an idea I've had for a while, just on the topic of dual meets.
Yeah.
I think at some point you probably need it with a 50 free. At some point during a break in the middle of the meet, after the 50 free has been swum, remind everyone what the time is. All right, we have selected 8 spectators. How fast can you do it? So that way you can just, because it's like everyone's idea that comes up during the Olympics. Oh, we should have a regular person in lane 1. It's like that with a bit more separation. Like, all right. Or if you don't want to have randos do it, just have pick a sports team. You're like, all right, the wrestling team is here. Can they beat the women's 50 free time?
I love that. Yeah.
Because I think other sports can definitely get into that.
Oh, for sure. Like, how could you not? And then you could have the role reversal too, of going to the basketball game and trying to shoot a half court, have swimmers trying to shoot half court shots or whatever it is.
That was what gave me the idea, is because normally, because basketball has more of a natural break for timeouts, stuff like that. Basically every college basketball game is going to have some little game that they pick random spectators to do to just have something happening on the court. So actually had one of my teammates one time got picked to do that, and he ran downstairs to the swim locker room to put on a swim and dive shirt. So he's like, I want people to know why I'm not to miss a bunch of shots, because there's they're playing tic-tac-toe where you had to get a basket before you can make a move against the other person.
Okay. Okay, well, that's really great. I love that format. But yeah, why wouldn't you want to see other athletes trying to swim especially fast, because especially with athletes, I think they're going to think that they are better than they are. And I think that would be quite entertaining for the fans. Ooh, I like that idea. But yes, to go back to the Raleigh Rumble, they had 50 students in lane 1 while they were doing a mixed 200 free relay skins knockout in lanes 3 through 8. So they had 6 teams, and then they did the relay, and then the last 2 get knocked out, and then they did 4, last 2 get knocked out, and then they did top 2. So it was 3 heats total. The fun part, or another fun part, was that in between heats, you could switch out swimmers. Yeah, from the relay lineup. So you could have a totally different lineup for the second heat if you wanted to, which I think the winning NC State team did. But yeah, they did a lot of fun things. They had an open water course set up in their 50-meter pool, which was 1,800 meters ish, according to their website.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through results. I'm like 1,800, and then all the results just say everyone did 15 minutes flat. Okay, that's not accurate.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what those results actually are. I think Lance Norris was the winner, but
I hope there's a race video somewhere.
That way, yeah, it would be really fun. But they did a lot of really cool things. It was Ohio State, Virginia Tech, and NC State. And I'm hoping they continue this format in the future. It was all day Friday, with the marquee event being Friday evening at 7 p.m. That's when they have the in-water cheering section. And then Saturday morning, they had a session as well. So love to see that. Love to see fun meets happening. There, as we also saw the Cal Stanford triple distance meet, which is kind of has become a standard for Cal and Stanford over the years, where you either do 50, 100, 200 of free fly back breast, or 100, 200, 400 IM, or there's a distance that's 200, 500, 1,000 free. So you kind of pick one. A lot of really fast swims from many swimmers. My highlight swim for that was the defending NCAA champion in the women's 200 breast, Lucy Bell, dropping a 2:04.8, I think 2:04.7 in the 200 breast. She was less than half a second off of her best time when she won NCAA's last season at the beginning of November. Like, are you kidding me? Jeez. So she's looking in fine form to defend that title this year, but also it's like the record's 2:01. Like she's going 2:04 in November. Like, dang. Also, they just got a new head coach less than a year ago. So it seems like something is working for Lucy right now, which the Stanford women look great so far this season as a whole. But it was kind of funny to me that swim did not make the headline, but Tori Husk did, which Olympic champion, she's totally deserving of it. But then you like kind of scroll through the results and you're like, okay, yeah, that's good. Wait, what? So yeah, that was really exciting to see from Lucy Bell.
Lucy Bell last year during ASU Cal Stanford, November 7th and 8th, also swam the 200 breast, 2:06.32. It's what she went, which at the time looks like it was actually a personal best too. So
she's just crazy. Her trajectory is just up.
She's going to 159 at NCAA's.
Dude, no kidding. I mean, but that's yeah. That 2:06 in season, also really impressive.
That's also fast. Yeah, let's not be like that's slow. Yeah, that's quick.
Also really good. Yeah. Other exciting narratives from that. Claire Weinstein is looking great for the Cal Bears so far, as is Tegan Odell. It seems like they've kind of the Cal women have kind of gotten a shot of adrenaline in the arm from their freshman class. They had a lot of strong performances. It's fun seeing the Cal men compete this year and kind of go from a team that was so top heavy to a team that is very, very young. A lot of the commenters are bemoaning that the Cal men don't have a lot of sprint depth. I'm really interested to see how their season goes and who might come out of the woodwork for them as prominent sprinters or as prominent relay pieces, because outside of Yamato Okadome in breaststroke, who is just wrecking it, 51 and 151 in the 100 and 200 breast so far this season, they don't have a lot of, prominent. He went 50 point. So sorry. Yeah, he looks great. And outside of that, especially for when you're thinking about relays, it's like, okay, who do we got? Who's going to step up? So I'm excited to watch that narrative as well for the Cal men, because they've been top 2 now for 15 years. And that streak seems like it might be in danger at this 2026 NCAAs. Any other college news you want to cover, David?
Nothing that is, or actually here, one from the Wisconsin Minnesota meet. This is, I believe, the headline swim from that one. Yeah. Wisconsin's Maggie Wanizek.
I think that's how you say it.
Close enough. Personal best 50.3 in the 100 backstroke, which is currently the 3rd fastest swim in the NCAA this year. Bella Sims still holding on to that one with the only sub 50. But I mean, if you're behind Bella Sims and Claire Curzon, you're doing something right. Those are the only 2 ahead of you in the NCAA so far. Yeah. And that one, and I believe the article mentions that went a best time last November in a dual meet with 50.9, and then that remained her best time for the rest of the year. This is significantly faster, so clearly got over that hurdle and hopefully is able to consistently stay under 51 seconds for the rest of the year. But that is super speedy for November and in general.
Yeah. It is funny that maybe, again, similar to like the UZD 200 IM effect, where I'm like 50.3, like, and there weren't a ton of comments, no one was like freaking out. I'm like, that is so fast, especially for the beginning of November. We're not even at mid-season yet. And then you go look at the records and I'm like, oh, Gretchen Walsh has been 48-1. That's right.
She doesn't count.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I was
Same with the 100 fly.
Yeah, it's pretty silly stuff when you get into Gretchen Walsh territory. But shout out to Maggie. I mean, 50.3 best time, but also just a really, really fast time for the middle of the NCAA season.
Yeah, so, and then that can carry your training through for the rest of the year, because you sometimes can approach your training in a very different way if you know that I am a, insert time here swimmer. Because if you're doing pace work and if you're trying to pace for a 50-point high, well, then if your body is actually capable of going a bit faster, then you might not be training those pathways as much as you could or should be. So that's also a super helpful diagnostic for adjusting your training. But I'm sure the coaches are like, oh, what are we gonna do with her now? I thought we were gonna do this and this, but now clearly she's way faster than we thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's I'm sure her coaches are reevaluating as we speak. Yes. Right? I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's maybe just push the line in the sand down a little bit.
Oh yeah.
So that's the NCAA wrap up, I would say, for this week. So let's move on to sink or swim to finish this podcast up. First up today on sink or swim, Tennessee landed another top 20 recruit for their class of 2027. That was their, I think, 5th top 5 recruit in this class, 4th or 5th. Which is lining up well. They've already recruited a stellar class for 2026, including Charlotte Crush, who is the #1 recruit in that class. And it looks like they are doing a similar thing in 2027, which leads commenters and moderators, as such as myself alike, to wonder, will someone other than the University of Virginia women win an NCAA title by 2028? So I'm thinking in the next 3 years, 26, 27, and 28 NCAAs, will we see another team aside from Virginia win an NCAA title? David?
See, if history has taught us things, doubting any swimmers from the University of Virginia seems like a bad move. But at the same time, I just can't fathom this long of a winning streak. I feel someone's either another team is going to have just the year of their life. Everyone's going to be firing on all cylinders at the NCAA championships, and they're going to take a big swing and hit it. Or Virginia's going to have a slight stumble, which, depending on how competitive it gets, might be all it takes to lose the title. I'm going to swim it. We have 3 years of runway for that to happen. I feel like there is definitely, the fact that I'm debating it at all, to be like, hey, 3 years out, is this team going to win their whatever consecutive national title, is already just ridiculous. So that alone probably makes me need to swim it, because I just can't fathom the other side of this.
Yeah, no, I agree. What would that be? 8 straight?
Yeah, they just won
for
5.
UVA, which would be unheard of. So I'm going to swim it as well. Claire Curzan will be graduated by then. Bren Greenwald will not be there. Katie Grimes will be gone by then. Like, I'm thinking of their like big players. Sarah Curtis should in theory still be there, but like they will have lost a lot of key pieces. So far, they have not recruited the star power that they have in past years, which, to be fair, Kate Douglas coming out of high school, was not the Kate Douglas we know now. So we know that Virginia can develop talent, but with the classes that Tennessee has recruited, with the classes Texas has recruited, the Stanford women are in a really good place right now. We'll see how they develop. And what's really interesting is that the top 2 women in the class of 2027, Riley Arisman and Audrey Derivo, have still not announced their verbal commitments, which could honestly swing swing a school in one direction or the other very, very quickly, especially if they decide to go to the same school. But for right now, without knowing where Riley or Audrey are going, I'll swim it as well. I think we will see, I won't say the end of the UVA dynasty, but we will see the Queens dethroned at least for 1 year.
And they've had the target on their back for so long too. It's hard to hold off the field for that long.
I think they will win this year fairly comfortably, but I'm really excited to see how UVA performs at NCAAs this year, just because so many of their women will have to step up in a way that they probably haven't had to before, whether it's in the pool, in terms of team and leadership, because you don't have those key pieces of like the Walsh sisters that you've had, or Kate Douglas that you've had for so long. So I'm excited to see how they perform this year, and then certainly going into 2027, it'll be interesting. It'll be fun to watch. So, okay. Next up on Sink or Swim. After we saw in Lawrence, Kansas, a 62-year-old and a 75-year-old swim a 4,000 IM. Think about that for a second. 4,000 IM, 1,000 of each stroke. Sink or swim, do you think you could finish a 4,000 IM in 1 hour and 6 minutes, which is how long it took 62-year-old Dave Koff? I think I'm saying that right. Hour and 6 minutes, 4,000 IM.
I think if you asked me to do it right now or tomorrow, I think I DNF. I don't know if I can get past the 1,000 butterfly. It's been a little bit since I've touched the water to swim for exercise. I was in a good groove for a bit. It's been a while. It's been a hot second since I've been in the water though. So I think if I had, I'd say 2 weeks to get my body prepared for it.
I think fair.
I could get past the 1,000 fly. That is the filter. That if you can get, at least I feel like if I can get through the 1,000 butterfly, I can hold the pace to finish out the rest of it, because I tend to like doing longer, more aerobic swims when I was swimming for exercise more. I realized, because I was starting off trying, like, I'm gonna do like fun, fast stuff. And then I realized that my brain is weird and likes to just go, hey, how about you swim 200 laps straight? And that was more fun somehow than doing fast 25s. I honestly had like a small existential crisis when I realized that. Or 200 lengths, not laps. Sorry, 200 lengths. Just count to 200 on each wall. So I think I think 2 weeks is where it would push me to a swim. If you told me I had to go do it by the end of the day today, I'm not finishing the first 1,000.
Yeah, that is hard. I think I could do it today. If I had 2 weeks to prepare, that would be even better. I think I could finish it today or in 2 weeks. I'm thinking that I would do it in under an hour and 6 minutes, because if I did it at all, I would hate myself, because I would be so bored, but also my shoulders would, like doing that much butterfly would be really rough. And I think you can do butterfly in a way that's like a little more manageable and for longer distances. But my shoulders would fall off at the end of it. But I would not be able to, even if I could push myself to do it in under an hour and 6 minutes, I would not. If I was doing a 4,000 IM, it would be purely to finish it. It would not be for time. I would not push myself to try to finish in any sort of like anaerobic capacity. So that's my take on the 4,000 IM. Will I do it? Absolutely not. It sounds terrible, but good for them. That's not going
to be in the next practice in pancakes. It's just you at your local pool doing a 4,000. Honestly, I feel like people would enjoy that.
It just starts out with me in a diner looking defeated. Hey guys, practicing pancakes. And then
Or
cuts.
what you do
Yeah.
do you know that commercial with Michael Jordan's mom where they
No.
have like a stunt double that's very clearly not her? If you could just do that, if it's like, all right, guys, I'm about, and then like it cuts right when you dive in and you like somehow talk Marchand into doing it and be like, wow, that was easy.
Okay. You might be onto something there. Might be onto something there. We'll see if we can make that happen in Austin soon. So stay tuned for.
I guess I just gave it away. So
stay tuned during U.S. Open. We'll see.
oh my god. Oh, long courses.
All right. Speaking of long course, USA Swimming announced a revamped Pro Swim Series format this week. It includes semifinals of some of select events at each of the 4 Pro Swim Series stops this year, as well as double earnings. So usually, if for top 3, it's 1,500, 1,500. If you win an event, and it's again, they're different events each stop, but if you win certain events, it's double the money. So it's 3,000 for the winner. Those are the major series formats. It's now actually 4 full days of competition instead of like a distance session at night and then 3 full days to accommodate for the semifinals as well. Are you sinking or swimming these changes to the Pro Swim Series format?
Yes. Because I'm sinking it. I'll obviously, first of all, more prize money. I'll swim that all day, every day.
Yeah.
For what it feels like they're trying to do, I'll swim it, which is using this as more of a training meet for the pros, right? That to get semifinals, to get used to swimming semifinals, to do prelims and finals of distance races, to get used to swimming prelims and finals of distance races, to have the opportunity to do that more than twice a year for the distance swimmers. Because every other meet outside of national championships, outside of worlds or Olympics, is going to be timed finals. Mm-hmm. I get that. And using this as like a training aid for your top swimmers, that makes a ton of sense. I think that's actually pretty smart. However, that is not what I want the Pro Swim Series.
Smart.
I really think
fun.
Yes. I want this Pro Swim Series to take notes from the World Cup. I think it needs to be as high energy, fast pace as possible. Steal the running like winners from each stop, and the whole series would be fantastic because it gives that storyline for it. So I honestly wish that they had 2 separate series at this point, like one more hyper focused over a short, like few weeks, like the World Cup is, and then one that you can have just to be for pros to go to and get some meets under the belt. The ones that the kind of pros that don't even go to the World Cup because they'd rather focus on their training and their preparation and stuff like that. So I'm swimming it for getting the job done for what I think is their goal, unless they're trying to make it fun, in which case that is a big fat sink. But assuming that they're mostly trying to use this as a training aid to supplement it for the pros, honestly makes a lot of sense. But for what I want, an engaging meet to keep people engaged in swimming, for a fun product to watch outside of the Olympics, that way people are reminded that swimming doesn't just exist every 4 years. That's the sink. Prize money is always a swim, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to down prize money, but it's just an overall sink for me. I don't want semifinals at a pro. Like, that's not the addition at a pro swim that I wanted. And
so many people don't even want them at Worlds or the Olympics.
Yeah, I'm one of them. I don't think we need semifinals.
Me too.
For many, if anything, make them for 50s. Maybe hundreds. Not to anyway. Yeah, this is not the addition I wanted. I think let's double the prize money of some events at some of the meets. It's like, what? You have the money. Like, come on. The prize money at Pro Swim Series is like such a perfect time to incorporate sponsors and to bring sponsors in to sponsor those prizes. So I think there should be more prize money, period. To say we're giving more prize money, but it's only in some events. It's just like, what? Like it seems like less than the bare minimum of like upping the game. But then like semifinals in a year where our championship meet does not have semifinals is like, what? Like I know everything in this
Oh, I didn't even
quad
think about that
is
factor.
yeah, it's like I know everything is pointing to LA 2028 and I appreciate what they're trying to do, but it's like we're going to have semifinals at our pro swims for the next 3 years is what you're telling me? Like, oh God, like we don't need that much practice doing this. I
Me
just
to my coach at the end on Friday.
yeah, right. Yeah, I hope someone turns that into a meme. But it's just like it seems like overkill. And again, like you said, I think we should be taking notes from World Cups. I think this year especially, it is like because it's not even the qualifying year. You know, in quads past, this year would be more important because nationals slash pan packs would be your opportunity to qualify for world championships the next year. That's not the case. We eliminated that. This year is just pan packs. So why are we adding semifinals to our Pro series? It's very odd to me. And I think we had an opportunity to like do some fun things to maybe like throw some 50s in there, to maybe some skins 50s. I don't know, but I'm not a fan. And again, I don't think this was a decision made for fans. It was obviously made for the benefit of the national team and their international experience moving into LA 2028. But for me, it's a sink. Okay. That was going to be it, but I do have one more. So speaking of the Pro Swim Series, last year, the premier event of the Pro Swim Series was Fort Lauderdale, where we saw 3 world records go down, notably Katie Ledecky smashing her own 800 free world record from Rio that was 8 years old. This year, this just went live on SwimSwam. We are going back to Fort Lauderdale. The Fort Lauderdale Open is returning. It wasn't on the Pro Swim Series schedule. And I think people were upset. I was, because this is the best meet. This is the best place to go to a meet. You're essentially in Miami. Fort Lauderdale is beautiful. You're on the beach. But the powers that be said, you know what? This was a good meet. We should do this again. The Fort Lauderdale Open is set to return in 2026 with one of the most loaded fields in meet history. April 29 through May 2nd at the iconic Fort Lauderdale Aquatic Center. It is hosted by Swim Fort Lauderdale, the city of Fort Lauderdale, and Visit Fort Lauderdale. We got the University of Florida, Virginia, Texas women, NC State, Ohio State, Auburn, Princeton, ASU, Bowls, SwimMac, Nashville Aquatic Club, Sarasota Sharks, among those listed set to compete at this meet. So it's going to be a great one. Once again, my sink or swim to you, David. Will we see another world record go down in Fort Lauderdale again?
I'm going to swim it because I need to and not give any more thoughts because I actually need to go. Because I'm going to be late for something if I don't leave like right now.
Oh my God. Oh yeah. David, leave right now. I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. And we'll see you next time on the SwimSwam.
You cut out after leave right now, so I'm just going to do that.
You're good. You're good, David. David had to cut out. I'm sinking it. I don't think we'll see another world record this year in Fort Lauderdale. It was a magical meet last year. Gretchen was on fire. Katie Ledecky was on fire, but I hope I get proven wrong. I hope that we see another world record in Fort Lauderdale. Regardless, it's going to be a great meet. It's going to be a great meet this year as it was last year. So watch out for that on the meet schedule. I don't think there's any other major meets that weekend, so it should be the premier show for late April, early May. That is all for today on the SwimSwam Breakdown. Thank you for tuning in.